And we continue this morning at KHQA to shatter the silence, erase the stigma of mental health. Joy Bachhold is a licensed clinical social worker from Quincy Medical Group, here this morning talking with us about adults and mental health, depression and everything. Last week we had Marcus Hurt from Quincy Medical Group talking about teenagers and kids. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So when it comes to adults and depression and mental health, what are some different signs and symptoms that we can look for to help our friends and family?
Sure. It may depend on the individual, but some common signs that we notice might be having a lack of interest in things that they previously enjoyed. So if someone really enjoyed sports or walking or gardening or whatnot, and you notice that they're not engaging in them as much some more, or they have more apathetic comments about them or speak even negatively of them, those are some good signs. Also, you may notice changes in their sleep patterns or even their eating habits. Maybe some comments such as, I just don't have as much to look forward to in life, or things that might indicate that they just aren't as happy as they once were.
As an adult, you can kind of, you know how to hide those types of feelings. What happens if you are having those feelings? What advice do you have for those folks?
So if someone is experiencing those feelings, they're often feelings of sadness. They're very uncomfortable as well. And so it's important to acknowledge them. So many times as adults, we could push those aside and pretend like we're not experiencing them or trying to avoid them. But what research suggests is that it actually leads the emotion to come back stronger later. So what I would encourage is for people to acknowledge them, even if they feel like, well, I'm not having thoughts of death, so it must not be important. No, it is important, and you are important, whatever it may be. So if it's not feeling like getting up to go to work anymore or not being as involved with your children, acknowledge that. That is very valuable.
Okay, even in everyday life, because we talk about having feelings of death and suicide. Depression doesn't necessarily mean that's going to lead to that. It certainly can. But you can still have depression and live a normal life.
Yes, you can be very functioning.
Okay, good.
Yes, very functioning, and it is important. In fact, I often look at things like depression, anxiety as a 10-step ladder, and it is important to address it as soon as possible. Don't wait until it gets to that 8 or 9 on that ladder. Address it when it's a 1 or 2, even the minimal thoughts.
The higher you get on a ladder, the harder you're going to fall. So.
Yes, and the more challenging it's going to be able to pull yourself away from those unhealthy patterns of thinking and to get yourself motivated to do those things you once enjoyed.
All right, Joy, thanks so much for coming in, and everyone needs to know mental health, depression can be treated. That's the important thing here. So.
Yes.
We'll be right back with more KHQA this morning after this.